Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss how to call Servicenow APIs from Postman. Generally, to call any API from Postman, we need to generate the access token. So to generate the access token, we need the details like authentication type, client ID, client secret, username, password, token endpoint, like that. So we need to generate first client ID, client secret from the ServiceNow application. So we will check where to generate the client ID and client secret in the ServiceNow application, and how to generate the user, and how to generate the password, and what type of the user we should generate in the ServiceNow, and we will test in the Postman. So let us quickly jump into the video. So once we register into the ServiceNow application, we can register for any courses, on-demand courses, which are for free. So once we register for any on-demand course, they will provide an instance for us for testing purpose. So I have registered this for this course, REST integration, create inbound request, and this is the URL, nowlearning.servicenow.com. Once we register into this ServiceNow application, we can register for any course and we can get the instance. So I have received this instance for testing purpose, for doing the practicals, and they will send the username and password. So I have already logged in with my username and password into the ServiceNow application. So we need to generate the client ID and client secret. So first for that, we need to click on this all, and we need to go to the application registry. You can type here. Let me remove this again. So here we can pin or unpin this. So if we pin, it will show like this here, and we can search here application registry. So it is under system OAuth. Under system OAuth, we need to go to this application registry. We need to create one application. Then we will get the client ID and client secret. So it is showing the list of application registries. So we will create new one. Let us click on this new. It is asking to choose what kind of OAuth application. So it is showing various types of OAuth application types. For this video, we will check this option. Create an OAuth API endpoint for external clients. So let me click on this and give the name as Postman API, and the client ID they have generated for us, and the client secret, if you see here, client secret blank. So leave client secret blank to automatically generate a string. So we will leave it a blank, and if you click on submit, it will just save it and again take it to that list of application registries. Instead of that, we can just right click on save, so that it will get saved and we will be in this form only. So for that purpose, let us right click on this here and click on save. So once we click on save, the client secret will be generated automatically for us, and let us copy this client secret. So now if you see, we got the client ID. So let us copy this client ID and paste it in a notepad. So if you observe, these are the details we need to pass as in the body section to generate the access token in the Postman. The grant type is password. The client ID, just now we have generated it. And the client secret, here we have the client secret. If we click on this button, toggle password visibility, we will get that client secret, so that we can just copy it and paste it. And now we need the username and password. So for that, we need to go to the users. In the here, we need to type as users. Here under the system security, under the users and groups, we have this users. Let us go to this users and let us create a new user for this purpose. And let us give the user ID as Postman API test. This is the user ID I have provided, and the first name as Postman, last name as API. So password, we need to, we should not type here the password. The password, once we click here, right click and save, we will get the option. Here we will get a button visible. Once we save it, that is set password. Once we click on that button, then the password we can generate from there. So, and if you observe web service access only, so we should check this checkbox to true, because this user should only be able to access the APIs and endpoints, but he should not be able to log into this application. So for that purpose, he should not be able to log into this application. We should give this checkbox to true web service access only. So this user should have only access to the web service. So let us check this checkbox. Otherwise, this user and he will be able to access to the log into this application. He should not be able to log into this application. He should be able to access only the APIs. So for that purpose, we need to check this checkbox. Now let us right click here and click on save. Once we click on save, where we will get this option set password. So if you observe, click on this set password, and here the set password, you should click on generate so that the service now will generate a password. If you observe, password generated successfully. And please remember, by mistake you should not click on this close button. You should remember, once you generate the password, you should click on the save password button, unless until this password will not get saved. So just don't forget that once you click on generate, this password will get generated for us, and you should copy this password. For that purpose, you should just click on this one, click to copy this password. Now the password has been copied successfully, and let us paste it over the notepad here. This is the password that we have generated, copied, and click on save password. Please remember, you should not forget this step. Click on save password. Now the password has been saved, and you can see here it got updated over here. And now then you can click on close this, and the password has been saved. Now just copy this user ID as well, username. So now we got all the details: client ID, client secret, username, and password. And the token URL, if you observe, the token URL will be https colon slash slash here your domain dot service now service hyphen now dot com and OAuth underscore token dot do. So the domain will be the same, and you need to change this part. We need to give our domain. So if you observe, from now learning till this lab, so we need to copy this domain and we need to paste it over here. Now this is the end point. In your case, this will change. Up to this will change, and the remaining part will keep the same. So now this is the token endpoint. Now we get all the details. Let us go to the Postman and we will generate the access token. So go to the Postman. So this is the Postman. Click on this new tab, and the endpoint we need to give the endpoint. What endpoint we have? This is the endpoint. Copy this endpoint, and the method type is post, and these are all the details that we need to send. So where do we send all these details? We send all these details under the body section. So click on this body and check this radio button, xwww form URL encoded. So select this radio button. Once you select this, here if you see, instead of typing separately every record, what we can do is we can just click on this bulk edit, and we can just paste it over here. So we need to give the key value pairs like this: key colon value, key colon value, like this. We can copy all the values at a time, so that we don't need to provide each value by typing it separately. So if you observe, again I am clicking on this. Now we have provided all the details. Now we got all the details like client ID, client secret, username, password, and the endpoint, token endpoint. I'm clicking on this send button. Now we should get the access token. Sending the request. Yay! We got the token. This is the access token. Now with this token, we can invoke any APIs, and we can retrieve data from the Servicenow application. So for that, we will test that as well. So for that purpose, let us go to the Servicenow application, and we will go to the REST API Explorer. So type as REST API Explorer. It is under System Web Services. Go to the REST API Explorer. There we can get the endpoints to retrieve any data from the table or pass any data to the table, like that. So if you observe, now the namespace is now API name is table, API version let us choose as v2. It is saying loading API details, running transaction. Just give it time for this many seconds. Oh, it is taking this many seconds now. Okay, now let us click on this retrieve records from a table. So click on this. So I have clicked on this retrieve records from a table here. Let me close this so that we will have more space. Okay, table name. So from what table we want to retrieve records, we can choose here. So I am in the drop down. I have just clicked this in the drop down. So let me type as incident. So from incident table, we want to choose records. So I have typed incident. So if you observe, this is the incident. Let us select this. And here in the sysparam fields, instead of choosing all the retrieving all the fields, we can just retrieve some fields like the incident number, incident resolved by, incident opened by. It is a bit slow, just have patience. Incident opened by, the three fields: incident number, incident resolved by, and incident opened by. Click on save. And for this purpose, let us testing purpose, we will choose only 10 records, and other parameters we will keep as is. So I'm clicking on send. Now if you observe, this is the response we have got 200. Okay, which means it is success. And this is the incident number, incident resolved by, and incident opened by. So we got the details, right? So we will test it from the Postman. So this is the method, HTTP method is get, and this is the URI. So we'll paste this URI, copy this URI, and let us go to the Postman. Take a new window, paste it over here, and the method type is get, and we need to pass the access token, right? Otherwise, we will get access denied error. See, I have chosen this without sending access token. If I click on send, it will throw error like unauthorized. So we need to pass the access token. So we have generated this access token previously. So we need to copy this access token. And where do we need to pass the access token? We need to pass the access token under the headers and authorization. Key value is authorization, and the access token is, we need to put the word as bearer space token, that which we got generated. Now if you click on send, we will not get this unauthorized error, we will get the data. Okay, now we got the 200 okay error, but the data we are not able to retrieve the data because this user may not have permissions to access the records from the table. So for that purpose, we need to give the full roles, admin role, to that user. So let us click on this and go to users. It is under system security. This is the user. And what user we have created, if you observe, this is the user, Postman API test. So let us search for that user. The user ID is Postman API, and click on enter. This is the user we have created, Postman API test. As it has no roles, generally we need to provide the least privilege, like only access to that particular table for which we want this user to be able to access. But for this demo, I am just giving the admin role, but you need to be more cautious and give only the required role. But I am just giving the admin role. Click on save. Now we have provided, once we provided the admin role, it will also add all the dependent roles which are required to add to that admin role. So for this user, now we have given full permissions. Now we should be able to retrieve the data. So let me click on send again. See, now we got the results. So here, incident number, incident resolved by, incident opened by. Like that, we have 10 records. So if we want, we can just mention we want only two records or one record. I'm just giving one record. Click on send. See, now we got only one record, right? So in this way, we can generate the client ID, client secret in the ServiceNow from the application registry, and we can create a user with web service access only to true. And using those client ID, client secret, username and password, we can generate the access token from the Postman. And using that access token, we can invoke any ServiceNow APIs. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much.